The first question is from Paul Hendrick. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Good afternoon, Mike. How important are games against heavy teams like we saw in Columbus Friday night and St. Louis last night in terms of the acceleration of the bell curve of learning for the Sandman?
I just think in general, I think every game's obviously an opportunity for him. I thought he had his best game last night, played his most minutes, was the most comfortable, and that's all part of the process. Each team he plays different. It's going to expose different things. Tampa will be a different thing here coming up, but I think it's all just part of the learning process. It's good for your team in general, never mind just the young guy on the back end.
Thank you. The next question is from Lance Hornby. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Thanks a lot. Mike, you hinted last night at maybe changing the rotation a bit. Any further update on that today?
Nope.
Thank you. The next question is from Jonas Siegel. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Mike, was there any point last year where you thought William was really back, like you thought you had him back for real?
Nope. Never. I thought last night was one of his best games, his most physical game, his most tenacity on the puck, making plays, but going to get the puck for himself so he could have it more. We never saw that last year. I don't know, for whatever reason, it just never got to that point, and so it's great to see him feeling good about himself. That's an important step for our team.
Thank you. Next question is from Chris Johnston. Please go ahead.
Mike, just to follow up on the Sandman, wondering what you've thought of his first week since the game started for real in the big picture. Is it a big change for him, do you think, those first couple games?
Well, I just think the biggest thing is that the time you used to have, you don't have. So you got to figure out to do what you always did at a much higher speed. The people you're boxing out are twice as big as you ever seen. The guys that are forechecking are quicker. The space is smaller. But what I like about him maybe the best is that when he makes a mistake, it doesn't seem to affect his next shift. And so to me, that's a real good sign. His hockey sense isn't going away. His edges aren't going away. And so he'll just get quicker. And an example would be he's got a great chance to get the puck to the net for a scoring chance, waits 2 seconds longer, it ends up dead in the corner. And the same thing on the breakout. So those things, they're just going to happen. The more he plays and the more he sees, he'll be evaluating his shifts. He'll have an understanding of it himself.
Next question is from Josh O'Cloak. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Mike. Dr. Meg Popovic is now in her second full season with the club. What kind of influence do you think her work has had on the players and staff so far?
Well, to be honest with you, this is all private, and so I don't spend a whole lot of time talking about it. What we try to do is we try to have the resources the best for the players so that you can have a whole life. And what I mean is a good life at the rink and a good life when you're away from the rink doing something else so you have energy to play the game you love to play. This is a private interaction between her and the players who decide to use it and who decide to go to outside sources. Yeah, that's what I got.
Thanks.
We have another question from Lance Hornby. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Mike, the last couple of games, the defensive breakdowns that happened, would you say more individual play or something system-wise to be concerned about?
Well, I thought we had no energy the game before, and to be honest with you, the scoring chances were so low last night against. I didn't think we had a whole bunch of breakdowns. So, what would I say? I liked 3 of the 4 of our games. I didn't like our game in between. Both teams had way too many grade A's in the Montreal game. It was probably exciting for the fans. I don't need to see it very often.
Thank you. A quick follow-up, if you don't mind. You mentioned perhaps making the Marlies part of the rotation, bringing guys up. How much is it sort of affected it that they've only played one game? You haven't had a real chance to see guys down there who might be, available to bring up if you so choose.
Yes, that affects it, but also just what we got going on here. You know, we're still in the process here, like, to be honest with you. So we haven't got to that point yet. We're just going to keep trying to figure it out. I do like the fact, honestly, I would have liked not to play 4 games in 6 days, but now that we have, at least you have way more read on the players than you would have.
Paul, we'll take 2 more questions, please.
We have another question from Lance Hornby. Please go ahead.
Mike, could you comment about Mikiev's play on the penalty kill and how much before you got to know him were you prepared to trust him in that role?
Oh yeah, well we've watched so much tape on him and kind of been on it for quite a while. We knew we felt that was the strongest, not the strongest area, the area of his game. He seems to come to life in it. I don't know if it's where he's the most comfortable or whatever. He's obviously going to be an elite penalty killer with his speed, with his hockey sense. But we just feel he's scratching the surface of what he's going to become, both in that area and then his 5-on-5 play as well.
Thank you.